Juice WRLD's camp is set to drop Juice WRLD's second posthumous album this summer called The Party Never Ends. I mean, we've gotten a bunch of different leaks, which I haven't heard, by the way, because it ruins the whole flow of the rollout, and then I'm never surprised for the albums. We've heard a lot of different collaborators are supposed to be on this. And guys, listen, let us know in the comments section your expectations for this new Juice WRLD album that's supposed to be dropping this summer. So, Lou, take them through, let's say, a little bit of a description of what we're going to be going through in this video.
Yeah, so we're going to be telling you guys everything we actually know about this upcoming Juice WRLD album, and subscribe if you haven't already, because we're going to be taking you through this entire rollout, and also we're going to be covering the album review once it comes out. And, this album is very hyped because Juice WRLD's fan base has grown tremendously over the years, and people are realizing the impact that his music has had. So starting off the actual rollout on May 28th, Lil Bibby had actually tweeted "The Party Never Ends" with the Juice WRLD emojis.
Which is obviously the famous lyric from Travis Scott's Astro World on the song No Bystanders. So it's cool that, they're going to fit, sort of transform this whole album into that. And then, that's what they're carrying it with.
Yeah, and what really confirmed it was the actual little teaser video, which was kind of a cartoon or anime version of Juice WRLD. And that could have been, maybe a teaser to a music video or maybe to an actual anime show of Juice WRLD. But at the end of that video, once again, the title that popped up on the screen was "The Party Never Ends."
Absolutely. And there was actually another posthumous album that was supposed to be released called The Outsiders, I believe.
Yes.
So, I guess that's on hold for now. And listen, there's been rumblings that this is going to be a good project. I mean, when we're going to review this, obviously, it's not our standard review. We just talk about the standouts and what Juice WRLD's music means to us and, that whole sort of vibe. And then, going through all of this, how have you liked the rollout so far?
I liked it. I mean, they dropped the anniversary edition of Goodbye and Good Riddance, which featured 734 and, of course, the Lucid Dreams remix with Lil Uzi Vert. And it's actually a funny story there because a leaker had actually sold the Lucid Dreams remix to someone for $10,000 a week before it released. So whoever bought that took a fat L there. But those two songs really hyped up the fans for new music. And I mean, look, at this point, Juice WRLD's manager named Pete on June 12th did an interview with Aiden Ross and some other guys, and he had
Lou and Zeke.
Yeah, and he had confirmed that The Party Never Ends will be dropping in the summer. He said that it's going to be an EP, but he later confirmed on his Instagram story that it is indeed an album. And he did confirm that Lil Uzi Vert is going to be on the album and some other big name artists. So how do you feel about that?
Listen, I'm super hyped for it because, based on the first posthumous album, I did enjoy the feature runs with it. It was just I would have to dive back into the track list to give you a complete analysis of it and understand it. But based on what I had gotten the first time around and the sentiment that I'd gotten around it, I'm super hyped for this. Not only that, but I like Pete for coming out and saying that, listen, if you guys keep leaking this music, we're not going to be dropping this. And it's true. I mean, listen, if people just keep leaking this shit, I mean, it won't come out. What music is there going to be to put on this EP?
It ruins the entire rollout. And, it's not fun for the fans because, of course, everybody wants new music, and this really sets everybody back, and it'll just make the wait longer. But apart from the actual album, we also have a documentary that HBO is going to be putting out later this year, and apparently that's going to take us through the beginning of Juice WRLD's journey and, kind of playing out his entire career and kind of just showcasing his talent, because when we're talking about Juice WRLD, I think that he was one of the most impactful artists and one of the most relatable artists. I mean, if you look at the topics that he covered, such as mental health, heartbreak, a lot of, teenagers and, young people really related to that sort of stuff. And you really got a vibe from Juice WRLD's cadences and just the emotion that he would pour into each song, that, he really touched people on a different level.
Yeah, his raw emotion really comes out throughout his track list, and his content matter is so relatable, especially for the younger generations. And I mean, that's probably the number one thing you're going to get through this posthumous album is more introspection, more stories about hardship and understanding how to deal with it. That's the great part about Juice WRLD is that he takes stuff that's, life lessons and makes it so catchy and is able to be commercially successful with it. So that's what I like about it too. Shout out to him also for being one of the, the coolest fucking freestylers I've ever seen, for the new generation. I'd watched that Tim Westwood freestyle and I was absolutely taken away. And I believe he had redone the Real Slim Shady beat. Is that correct?
I'm pretty sure he rapped over some Eminem beats.
Yeah, could someone just confirm that for me, before I keep going? But, I was like, fuck it. I'm super down for this, and I think he's a great artist.
Yeah.
And what he left, apparently the amount of unreleased tracks that this guy has in the vault is absolutely ridiculous. So
yeah, honestly, I just love the vulnerability that he would pour out into his actual music. I mean, you really would always hear him through, if it was his cries, his hums. He really used his melodic rapping to the biggest extent that he possibly could have. And honestly, I hope that the production is as good as it always is. I mean, of course, I'm sure that Nick Mira from Internet Money is going to be all over this, giving us kind of some iconic Juice WRLD beats with heavy bass, heavy 808s, and some really catchy melodies.
Not only that, but a lot of bounce to the track list. That's another thing that you could expect, just with, maybe lighter melodies and, something that's going to really it's going to be able to complement the sort of content matter, because a lot of the younger generations do listen to Juice WRLD for that content matter, and that's what they want out of this album.
Do you think that he would have been the best melodic rapper out right now?
Absolutely, he was changing the game. If you look at the impact, it was like Pop Smoke had completely blew up the drill scene, and then after that, like, Juice WRLD was really carrying the melodic scene
and that emo rap scene as well.
Absolutely, and then that emo rap scene works really well with his melodies, because he's able to be not only super vulnerable and have that sort of content matter, but he's able to do it in a catchy way that speaks to hundreds of millions of people. And the type of streaming numbers he puts up is absolutely ridiculous.
And
the first posthumous album put up almost 500,000.
Yeah, and it was the most successful posthumous album in 20 years, and that's such an amazing feat, and it goes to show the impact that Juice WRLD have. I mean, even if you look at the whole 999 movement of taking the bad and turning it into good, flipping the sixes upside down, I mean, that's a genius movement to carry, and he always cared about his fans, and I think that's why people were so touched by his music and kind of the life lessons that he would bring in that music, man.
So listen,
let's also talk about the release date, though,
because the release date is touchy. That's what I was just about to say. The release date is touchy because it's now like, if the leaks continue coming, who knows if this is going to come out anytime soon. And we saw again this year that they're not afraid to scrap albums. So
yeah, Lil Bibby has said that he will announce a release date soon. And people are speculating that it'll come around sometime in July. One thing that I saw were people saying that they think it's going to come on July 10th, because that's around a year after Legends Never Die came out. I think that one came out on July 9th, and July 10th falls on the Friday of this year. So that's a possibility. Apart from that, I mean, we know it's coming in the summertime, right? So
that's great. That's great to hear. Regardless of what, it's up to them, and they get the final say on it. And when it's a posthumous album, no one could really be complaining. That's the one thing, is there's really no room for negativity or hate with the posthumous rollout. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna say maybe July. I think so.
July makes sense,
because why would you want to overextend your rollout? You know what I'm trying to say? If they've already started rolling out the trailers and talking on Twitter and the whole vibe of it, I don't know. It seems close.
Last thing I want to ask you is who do you think would make for the best collaborators on this project?
That's a very interesting question. Young Thug.
Oh,
Young
yes,
Thug for sure.
They had such an amazing set of collaborations.
That's one feature I really want to see. A Lil Baby feature. I would just want to see the top tier trap artists come together and come and fill up this track list.
Apparently he has some songs in the vault with Polo G. Okay. That would be interesting too.
The introspection on those types of tracks would be
Someone
nice.
else who I really want to see him work with is Kid Cudi. Just because they've both been super transparent in their lyrics and have really had a positive impact on the lives of their fans, and they both are able to create a certain vibe to their music.
A universe, a universe to their music allows the fan to be vulnerable within the vibe of the project and throughout the content matter and relating back to it and being able to use it in your own life. So, guys, listen, with all that being said, we're going to have such a fun time going through this because, posthumous albums are meant to be enjoyed and, they're meant to be loved again. It's not going to be our regular review because, that would just be disrespectful. We're not doing that. And, just on another thing, guys, thank you guys so much for all the support you've been giving us on all of these videos, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching the video. It's always a pleasure doing content for you guys. Listen, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because we're doing album reviews, and we actually have our series called Everything We Know, where we take you guys through the whole album rollout of the hottest releases of the year. Not only that, guys, but our Patreon plan is now live. You guys could access that in the bio. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.